Hello, Stefanie.
Hi, Nino.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm well.
Yeah,
I'm doing
good,
good. Yeah.
good. Okay. I I can see that it's a bit of a tired, yes, and I'm well again.
Yes.
Mm,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just have a little cold and nothing major. I think it's my sinuses. A lot of people don't realize you can get sinuses in the winter, and so mine kind of flare up sometimes. But I'm
mhm,
doing well. I've been, working on some things that we talked about and I'm doing a lot better.
mhm. I'm very glad to hear that, and I can feel you have also, in a way, cheered up when you were recollecting what you were doing about some, exercises that we have discussed throughout past sessions.
Hmm.
And I'm glad to see and hear that it was something positive for you despite this minor
Hmm.
ailment. Yeah, and indeed, it's very uncomfortable to have sinuses, and that's, I think, part of the winter. So
Yeah.
I can really imagine how you feel. And thank you again
Yes.
for coming, despite all the odds and despite all the difficulties. Maybe what was it that made you feel good about what you were doing at home? And I appreciate you were doing some homework and reflection. What was it that made you feel good about it?
Um, I really like the part where I'm journaling and I journaled. I don't I usually do it like just sporadically throughout the day. And it could even be like one or two sentences of like how I'm feeling. Like when I'm thinking about my mom, I feel like that's helped recognize like when I'm feeling, and then I can see like a chart of like progress of like how I felt. So, like for instance, I think I felt like 3 times the other day, a lot of intense emotion. And I had my journal with me and I wrote down like the time and the date, and then just wrote a sentence like, I miss my mom. I'm feeling like the world is coming down like on me. And so I was able to journal that. And then today, this morning before we came on, um, I looked at like the journal and seen like all the feelings I was feeling and was able to see like 2 or 3 days pass where I didn't have to journal those type of journaling feelings. I journaled more, just how my day was going and things like that and how I was feeling so good. So it was kind of interesting to see the bad day that I was having per se, but more so looking at the timeline, if that makes sense.
Mhm. That makes sense indeed. I
Mhm.
I can hear that this perspective on the dynamics, how you feel, and the frequency of these experiences has made you feel that in a way you are able, first of all, to reflect on them, and in a way also to acknowledge their presence. And that was something that also brought some sense of peace in a way.
Yeah. Um, I also didn't feel like I was such a a loser because I was like I was always feeling guilty about how I was feeling.
Mm. Mm. And
Yeah.
that's an important progress that you have mentioned
Mhm.
now. Stefanie. And that somehow brings me back to that point in one of our sessions when you mentioned about the sense of guilt that you may think that the family wishes you to feel guilty. That was one of the thoughts that we have explored. And we have also tried to somehow explore how realistic that thought is and what's the evidence of it, if you remember. And in a way, you have tried to somehow question that thought because it gave you, I would say, a different angle on the perspective and experience that this thought would trigger when it would come up and pop up in your mind. Now you're saying that you feel that you may not be such a loser as such. You may not be a loser by itself, but it may be uh, simply the experience of guilt that made you feel like it, and that is another, I would say, milestone in how you are progressing through the treatment. That you
Mhm.
are questioning each and every new automatic thought that comes up in your mind without giving it an opportunity to, in a way, to do its own business and to make you feel the way you may feel if you believe it.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally like agree with what you're saying because not only was I letting my mom's death like consume me, or I wouldn't say consume me. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I let my negative thoughts about my family and what we're going through overwhelm me so much that I couldn't properly grieve for my mom.
Mm,
So I'm feeling numb or I'm feeling like a loser because sometimes I have these intense feelings about my mom's passing, but I also have like very more, like even more so intense feelings about my family. Because regardless, I feel that I'm grieving that also, the loss of my family, because we're not as close as we were. So I'm dealing with two entities of
mm,
loss,
mm,
I
mm,
guess, if that makes sense. And I just always felt like I was a loser,
mm,
like because I'm having all these feelings, but I couldn't really see it because I'm a person who likes the like rationale. I'm a rational. I
mm,
try to be rational, maybe,
mm,
but I want to see like proof that I'm going, look at like, why am I feeling like this? Am I going crazy? And then like the proof was right there, like, okay, I have these feelings on this day, but not on these other like 3 days.
mm,
So in my mind, I was manifesting that my symptoms maybe were way like I was like I couldn't keep track of time. Everything felt like in present. And so I kept having these reoccurring thoughts like I'm having these emotions every single day, but in reality, I only had one bad day.
mm,
I don't
mm.
know.
Tell me more about these two entities that you have mentioned.
Oh, my family and my mom?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because of the family conflict, I feel like I lost like um a part of me as more of a as more as before my mom passed away because we were way closer.
Mm,
Um And then when my mom passed away, it kind of all fell apart. So I haven't spoken to my one sister. My mom's been passed away, let me just think, 2017, 2018, 20, 21, 22, 23. Oh, wow. Yeah. So I haven't spoken to my sister since basically my mom passed away.
Mm.
Um, and then I hear things and I see things that don't align with like, have you ever heard have you ever heard the phrase, um, what is it when someone doesn't present themselves as how they say they are? Um,
Mm.
like that person, I don't know. I can't think of a phrase right now, but when I do, I'll let you know. But
Mm.
basically, oh, here's a good one.
Mm.
If a person shows you the first time who they are, believe them. So my sisters always had like nasty little things to say or comments to say or before my mom passed away. But I didn't pick up on her like jealousy or whatever's going on with her, or I didn't pick up on those little things until my mom passed away.
Mm.
And so I was like, why didn't I like speak to her about this when my mom was alive so we could probably resolved it instead of like, I don't know if I was ignoring it or I just wasn't, or I was being naive
Mm.
to the way that she was treating me, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Because she was doing this before my mom passed away. So I don't understand why I didn't like address it.
Mm. There were
I,
certain,
yeah.
please go ahead.
No, I was going to say, yeah, that's, I guess, the two entities that I'm talking about.
Mm. There were certain dynamics that were not so smooth, if we could, if we could phrase it that way, in the relationship between you and your siblings, that were maybe not overlooked, but not paid sufficient attention to from your side during mom's presence. And when she passed away, it somehow surfaced on it somehow emerged on the surface.
Mhm. But even though that was happening, I still like love my family and love my sister. So that feeling has not went away regardless of like our conflict. I just wish we could have talked about it. But I also realize, and maybe I don't know how anyone can help me, realize that some people are just not at that place to talk about certain things. So,
Mm.
or maybe even realizing that they really never,
Mm.
I guess in their eyes, they feel like they never did anything. So I don't know. I guess also I'm grieving the point where I never really got an apology. So it's kind of like I'm stuck here with all this, like feeling like I'm like a lot of guilt, a lot. I have a lot of guilt because I internalize it thinking that I'm the one who um have done like the no contact or
Mm.
and maybe I've done something that I don't realize that I've done.
Mm. there are different, I would say, options or perspectives that you are discovering as you are reflecting on these dynamics of relationship, and you are also in a way coming to the conclusion that there may be certain things that are worth to talk through
Mm-hmm.
uh, with your sister, and on the other hand you feel it's something that needs action, and in a way that action is questionable which side should in a way show the initiative.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of a good way to kind of like look at it, you know?
Mhm. Mhm. And
Um, yeah.
I'm wondering about that important insight that you have uh, came up to about, you've mentioned this is not so much about grief, but it's more about me not being able to grieve mom properly because these dynamics uh, between your siblings in a way made you block the process of grieving.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's maybe why I have these intense, maybe feelings sometimes, because I don't know if I feel I also feel guilty for feeling guilty,
Mm.
more so than feeling like I'm grieving too long. Like, okay, in America, like a lot of people feel like, well, in different cultures though, because in New Orleans, my husband lived there for a while, and they grieve differently than like Midwestern. Like,
Mhm.
I'm from the Midwest, so people from the Midwest kind of, depending on it, they just bury their loved one and then that's about it. But in New Orleans, their culture is a little bit different. So I wouldn't say this goes for everybody in America, but for the most part, the people that I'm around, they gr they grieve for that moment when once that person is moved to the cemetery or what's the other thing, cremated, then no one talks about that person anymore. So now I feel guilty for feeling this prolonged like loss, and I feel embarrassed because also in faith you're not supposed to like grieve that long for someone, or you're supposed to have more faith in God and let him, you're by scripture, I guess. My family especially believes like just move on.
Mhm.
You're not supposed to feel sad. If you have God in your life, like this is how my family thinks.
Mhm.
So this is where I think also that my uh like I question, I guess, my faith, and also I question not God per se, but they feel like if you have God in your life, you shouldn't be sad. You shouldn't have feelings. You should be moved on. You should be happy. God is in your life. He saved you.
Mhm.
All those things. And that's not how I feel.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like I should have feelings.
Mhm.
And I feel like I can have different emotions, and that still is okay. And that still gives me grace by God. But in their eyes, I feel like they feel like I think it's also um uh, some type of weak, like I feel like they're looking at me like I'm weak.
Mhm. Mhm. The perception of the family and the society overall, because it's not only about the family, but as
Hmm.
well it's about parish and um, the members of the community who share religious views that may be also sharing that opinion.
Yeah. Hmm.
Mm.
So just perspective, someone dies and they're usually buried anywhere from a month to 2 weeks. So 2 weeks
Mm,
to a month. Basically, once that person is gone, you should not like mourn them
mm,
anymore
mm.
because you're a weak individual if you do, basically.
But I'm wondering now, Stephanie, you have mentioned that, and you have also acknowledged that like it was a significant discovery for you. You have mentioned that it's not so much about grief, but it's about you in a way blocking uh, and not not only blocking, but not allowing yourself to process grief because you have those unresolved, you know, um, uh, negative interactions with the siblings that make you feel guilty, and that is why, in a way, you are blocking yourself from grieving. And on the
Hmm.
other hand, you're telling me no, the society, the community, the family are blaming you for grieving. Well,
Yeah. I
well,
think it's a
in
lot of
fact, you have
entities.
blocked yourself and
Yeah.
you experience numbness in a way and not even able to grieve.
Yeah. I feel like I never even really thought about all these different things until we started talking. Like
Mm,
all these different entities
mm,
that played a part in the way I feel now,
mm.
you know. And I think that's probably why I don't go to church anymore.
Because of that feeling of being blamed for not being able
Feel.
to feel and not being able to meet expectations of being grateful to God for everything.
Yeah. Yeah. You brought a lot of things in perspective when we started talking about talking this out because I've never really talked it out with anybody,
Mm,
you know.
mm. And you have done an amazing work throughout past weeks and today
Mm,
to come up with these discoveries and be very honest and genuine to yourself in the first place, which is admirable, and I really want to acknowledge that.
thank you.
Mm,
Um, yeah, that means a lot because again, sometimes having a lot of responsibility means you can't really also feel or just think about yourself. Sometimes you have to worry about other people and you never like acknowledge like where you were and now where you're at. So
mm,
thanks for bringing that to the perspective also.
mm. You are very welcome. That also uh, indicates that we may need to get back to our plan of treatment and make certain adjustments in terms of where do you want to go.
Mhm.
Now, because maybe that has also uh, unveiled the area that needs more action from your side rather than simply having, which is also a very important part of therapy, to work on yourself and
Hmm.
having certain activities that relate to your cognitions, your um, ability to change them. However, now you are discovering from your side certain areas that also relate to your family dynamics and your interactions that may have, in a way, blocked you from grieving. And that also tells us that maybe that is an area that we need to look into to see how that can be unblocked and, in a way, letting you, let's say, complete the process of grief that has been, in a way, suspended because of these interactions. Yeah.
Mm, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How does that sound to you, and how do you feel about it?
Yeah, it sounds real good.
Mhm.
I'm feeling positive.
Mm. That's wonderful. I can see that we are also approaching the end of the time for our session today, and I wanted to give you a quick, a reflection of what we have done throughout today's session, and it was a very, how can I say, rich session with so many discoveries that you have made throughout this
Yeah.
process. We have been talking about these two entities that, in a way, had an influence on how your experience, your emotions, your feelings of grief have been blocked and suspended in a way. Uh, on the other hand, you had really positive progress on certain uh, homework activities that you have done, and been very diligent in that, to observe your experiences, journaling, how you feel, and the visual of these dynamics have made you feel positive about um, where you are in the process of
Hmm.
grief, in a way also to that made you challenge your automatic thoughts about being a loser, being guilty for something that you may have not been guilty at all. And on the other hand, you have also explored that important part of your life of the family dynamics and dynamics of relationship in the church, and how has that been, in a way, um, a little bit aggravated after the loss of mom, and what the reasons are behind this aggravation. And that also made us look into the potential possibility of reviewing the treatment plan and assessing how can we look into these important layers of your life and try to see what can be done from your side to introduce positive change, in a way. And whether it's a process of grief, relationship dynamics, or your perceptions about how your experience is viewed, and you felt positive about it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I I'm ready for the next step.
That sounds so reassuring. And
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just ready. Like I never thought that I know I talk a lot, I ramble, but that therapy could help. So
Mm.
it's a good overview for the next steps going into what I need to work on and making me feel empowered and yeah.
Mm.
So thank you.
You're welcome. And I can hear determination and I
Thanks.
can feel passion as well and hear how you
Yeah.
really genuinely mean it. That means a lot
Yeah.
to me as well. And it's a
Sure.
privilege and honor to be there to also be of help in that process for you and for your future. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome, Stephanie. Thank you so much for your trust. And we shall meet then next week with our agreed plan to follow on.
Okay. Thank
Have
you.
a wonderful day and have a good rest and wish you a recovery.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.